We saw Alien Penis, Gotham City was mentioned, we did get to see Sinestro, and Martian Manhunter was also mentioned all in episode 2 of Lanterns, so we've got a lot to talk about. Essentially, this episode is Hal Jordan going to teach John Stewart how to officially use the ring, how to teach him how to fly, and make certain constructs and stuff like that. And as soon as he goes to teach him, the ring dies, right? It goes on 0. Those of you that don't know, you do have to charge the ring with the actual lantern, and you put it in, and we see that at the end of the show. But that's what keeps the battery of the ring alive. So at this point, John Stewart is sent all the way back to fetch the lantern, bring it back to Hal Jordan, because it's essentially just this go-getter for him until he's the official Green Lantern. And during that time, Hal Jordan is trying to solve the mystery, right? Where did all of this begin? Where did these aliens come from? So he's going to town hall. He's talking to people, trying to figure stuff out. And he goes back to the scene of the crime. So there he is at the football field, right? Kind of looking around. He goes to the metal detectors and he realizes something. They're not going off, right? The metal isn't setting stuff off. He brings parts from the car over just to double check. Still no sound from it. So he is confused at this point. Like, what is these metal detectors for? How did this mass shooting happen? What really is going down here? Because he just has his gut feeling that something is off. And his gut is never wrong. At least that's what he says. But then he has this genius idea. What if they're not metal detectors, but they're actually alien detectors? So if aliens go in and out, then the alarm goes off and they just kind of have a heads up, have an idea who is an alien at this point and who isn't. So he goes to the morgue where we see alien penis, I guess, which is technically human penis, but alien controlling a human, and we see his Johnson. And he puts them in his car. He takes them to the football field where he then begins to pull them through the metal detectors. And the alarm goes off. And it kind of catches in his brain. He's like, wait, let me do that again. He pulls them back through. He realizes these are, in fact, alien detectors and not metal detectors. So they're there for a certain reason. And his thought now is like, one, who bought these? This is insanely advanced technology, especially for wherever they are. So his next thought is to go back to the ranch where he was in episode 1 with John Stewart, and they had the cookout and everything. And he is there just kind of interrogating the head of the ranch like, hey, I know something's going on here. I'm going to come in and take a look. You know why? Because I have a hunch. My hunches are never wrong, and I'm a Green Lantern, so I'm just going to do it. And the guy is essentially there like, yo, we want you out of town. You need to get out of town. Your job here is done. Thank you for what you did. Hal Jordan, be gone. We've got stuff to do. And everybody wants him out of town. And he's catching this feeling. He's like, something is just off here. So he's talking to the head of the ranch. And essentially, he's letting him know, like, dude, I know something's off. Something's on your ranch. I'm going to figure it out. And I'm still going to solve this case no matter what it takes. So then the head of the ranch is like, essentially, if you come any further, that is essentially trespassing. And we're just going to snipe you. We have a guy in the tower, and we're just going to put a bullet straight through. And they do. They light up Hal Jordan, put a bullet straight through his right shoulder, and he's pretty much out of commission for a bit. He's sent to the hospital, and during this time, while Hal is trying to solve the mystery in Lanterns episode 2, John Stewart is legitimately getting jumped back to back, thrown out of an SUV, playing in traffic as he's being hunted down. So he goes to Hal's kind of mansion where he looks and he finds the lantern where to charge the ring and stuff like that. And when he gets in, he goes outside. He essentially gets jumped by a group of guys where he holds his own for a bit. But then after that, they just tase him, throw him in the back of an SUV, and act like they're about to interrogate him. So at this point, he's still holding this construct of this Green Lantern, this construct of a bird, as it's a very advanced technique for lanterns to be able to hold constructs for this long, especially without the ring on. So he's essentially just trying to hold it the whole time and bring it back until he gets back to Hal Jordan at the end of the episode, just to see how good of a job he can do. And at this point, he doesn't know it's an advanced technique, so he's just keeping it alive this whole time. But all throughout this episode, it's him and the bird kind of together trying to bring this lantern back to Hal. And these guys capture him eventually at this point after he kind of wrecks the SUV, throws them in traffic and stuff like that. So he essentially gets thrown in the back of an SUV and he breaks his way out and he almost escapes, but he's running into head-on traffic because that's what was behind him at this point. And he eventually gets hit by a car, knocked out again. Next thing you know, he wakes up and he's trapped inside of like an empty warehouse with a bunch of guards. And they're not even there to torture him. They straight up say that. They're like, hey, we don't know if we can trust Hal Jordan or if you can even trust Hal Jordan. Here's some of the stuff that he's done in the past. And they bring up Manhunters, right? Which is a reference to Martian Manhunter. It's a very popular shape-shifting alien, which is used a lot in the Justice League if you watch any of the animated shows, but stuff like that. Usually their weakness is fire as well. So keep that in mind when you're watching the show as we all try and figure out who the Manhunter is throughout the show. And give me your ideas down in the comments who you think it is so far. But essentially, he finds out what happened to the rest of the Manhunters at one point, and apparently one is still alive, and if it is, it's the biggest threat that they have facing them right now, and they think it's still alive because of Hal Jordan, because he was sent to kill it, and he didn't in the past. And at this point, we pan back to Hal, who's in the hospital recovering, and the sheriff is asking him, she's like, what is this whole deal with Sinestro, which is a lantern in the past who tried to pull a coup on all of the Green Lanterns and eventually uses the power of hate as opposed to the power of will to fuel their rings and stuff like that. So it becomes a major villain later on. I don't know how big of a villain he'll be in the show. Probably not too big just because the show is a small town crime true detective themed show. So I think we'll see him a couple times, but nothing past that. It's something traumatic from his past that he doesn't even want to talk about. And then when John Stewart gets back with the lantern to charge the ring, to catch up with Hal, he lets them know everything that happened. Yo, I was kidnapped. This happened. What is going on with these Manhunters? And at this point, Hal is just kind of shocked that he even knows what that's about. He's like, by the way, like, I can't tell you anything about this. Don't even worry about it. John's just pissed at this point. He's had a long day. He's been tased. He's been fought. He's been thrown around. He's like, I'm just going to bed. And then Hal Jordan essentially puts on the Green Lantern suit, flies to wherever Sinestro is being held in jail, and starts to questioning him about the Manhunters and see what's really going on. And that's when he finds out. He's like, by the way, if they're correct and there's actually a Manhunter alive where you guys are, then that's one of the biggest threats that you could be facing right now at this moment. Because he could literally be anything and anyone and has unbelievable strength, which is crazy as well. Not to mention he can phase in and out of stuff, just phase in, rip someone's heart out, pull it out and stuff like that. And he does eventually turn to be a good guy a lot of times in the comics. But it is interesting to see. Now we have this idea of the small town, what's going on, what's on the ranch. They're obviously hiding something. Who is the Manhunter? Because they're a big shape-shifting alien. And then we've got the whole buddy cop dynamic duo, which I think is the best part of the show right now, is Hal Jordan and John Stewart, and how they just constantly butt heads and try and solve this mystery in their own way, whether it's by the books, like John Stewart, or it's whatever his gut says, and it's ripping out people from the morgue, showing their alien penis, and pulling them through alien detectors. So there's a lot going on right now. Another solid episode from Lanterns. I'm excited to see. It's just something I'm excited to watch on Sundays now and see where the story goes and the mystery happens. I love small town mysteries. I think it's another solid episode. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. We're going to keep covering it. I'm going to do a video on a lot of stuff that you guys missed because we also got Gotham City mentioned, right? That's what the sheriff is originally from. It's just a little Easter egg to throw in there, but it just gives a bigger picture, and it does help build the universe a little bit more when they throw in little tidbits like that, like the Manhunters, like Gotham City and everything. So it is good. I like that they're building the world, and I like this show doesn't pull any punches when it comes to like swearing and nudity and everything like that. It really is like a TVMA for a DC show, and I think it's doing great. I love the buddy cup dynamic. I can't wait to watch next week's episode. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Is Lantern still off to a good start, or are you guys kind of done? You're kind of out of the show at this point. And who do you think the Manhunter is? I wonder if you've even seen who they are yet, but let me know who you think down in the comments below is the Manhunter.